You are watching WPTV, award-winning college television.
Welcome back to the desk. Today we're back with both the WP softball and baseball teams who are looking to find both their grooves. Here with me to break down the latest on the Diamonds is Daniel Karp, Andrew Ballistreri, Michael Milligan, and Tyler Cooper. Guys, the Pioneer softball team gets their first 2 wins of the season with a sweep over the NJCU Knights this past Tuesday. Pioneers won 5-2 in the first game and then 9-1 in the second. Bally, I'll start with you. What was one thing that the Pioneers did well that propelled them to that win, or those wins?
Got to be scoring early. They scored first in each game. They get 2 runs in the first inning of game 1, 4 runs in the first inning of game 2. And, Mark, if we take a trip down memory lane back to last year, when the Pioneers were scoring first in these games, they won just about every single one of them, and their chances just skyrocketed of winning games. And game 2, what they really did, they just kept their foot on the pedal. They ended up mercying them in 5 innings. It was great wins to see. They were very happy on the field. It was awesome. Really glad for them they got their first pair of wins this week.
Absolutely. Get the bats hot early, drive in those runs early. Tyler, we'll go over to you. What do you think helped them get that win in that doubleheader?
Yeah, for me, it's got to be their timely hitting. I mean, if you look at what they did top to bottom, the lineup, they all each had a hit. Like Lila Guthrie went 3 for 4 with an RBI, and she had her first multi-hit game of her career, which is hats off to her. Kyla Bythrow went 2 for 4 with a double, so each player had a hit, and they just got the bats rolling all game long.
Yeah, so it's similar to what Bally said, but it's more focused on the hitting. I mean, when you hit, you're going to win.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to. Milligan, over to you.
They must have listened to me from last week. It's cleaning up the errors. They only had 2 errors combined. 2 of them came in within game 1, where they ended up winning 5-2, and then when they went 9-1, they had 0 errors during that game. So I think cleaning up the errors is definitely the most important part, and they really hankered down on that, and they did fantastic, and they got the wins.
Yeah, so we make a difference here. We help you get wins. If you listen to us, you will win games. Karp, finish us out for this one.
It's got to be consistent pitching. I mean, we talk about Lila Guthrie, won 7 innings pitched, no runs the other day. Probably her best start of the season so far. We know how great she is, but let's talk about the second game. Gianna Mulatto, Lindsay Acker, and Kylie Anthony all combined for 1 run given up in those 7 innings. I mean, hats off to those girls. The pitching has been a little shaky aside from Guthrie, but it's a very positive sign to see all 3 of those girls coming in and combining a very good outing.
Yeah, getting Acker back was a really big step in terms of improving that pitching. So, yeah, hats off to them.
And you have more depth because
exactly.
they're only rolling with 3 pitchers.
Yeah.
There's like 20
so,
games.
the more pitchers they get, and the more improved they're going to be. They're not going to get gassed as early.
pitchers.
But, guys, keeping it with the softball team, they're going to look to get a road win as they match up against the Stockton Ospreys tomorrow in Galloway, New Jersey. Milligan, take us through how those teams compare.
Look, another important NJAC matchup right now. The Pioneers are averaging 271, while the Ospreys are averaging 314. OPS 645 for the Pioneers and 765 for the Ospreys. 5.29 ERA for the Pioneers with 3 for the Stockton Ospreys, and then 47 pitching strikeouts for the Pioneers and 128 for the Ospreys. So this matchup right now, it's going to be a little uphill battle, but I think they can, do what they did on the last 2 games. They can definitely improve on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're coming off a rough stretch, the Pioneer softball team, but you got their 2 wins, so they're looking to win against Stockton. So we'll go over to you, Daniel Karp. What do you think needs to happen for them to get that win?
You want your graduates, Kaylin Monahan, to stay hot. I mean, we talk about the Monahans all the time. The glues of the team, Kate of the softball team, Pat of the basketball team. Kaylin Monahan's been really good lately. She's hitting almost 400 in NJAC play right now. She's been hot. She started off very slow. She had a home run the other day to right field, so taking it the other way is, especially in softball, is something special. So you want her to stay hot. This is her last season to prove something, so I think for her to keep staying hot, to build that confidence is all you really need. She's the glue. When she goes rolling, the rest of the team goes rolling.
Yeah, I love the mention of the Oppo shot. That was nice to see. But, Bally, we'll go over to you. What do you think needs to happen for them to win?
They got to stay confident. And, Stockton, they do have some good pitching, but, the Pioneers just need to stay confident this weekend. We saw some solid pitching, they just played, and, they kind of dominated it. Getting their first couple wins, it's huge, definitely builds that confidence. And now you have Lindsay Acker, who just came back. She had a really nice performance on Tuesday, and that's huge for the bullpen. You have another arm, now 4 arms on that pitching staff. And overall, just have to ride this confidence wave into this weekend, head down to Stockton, grab a win.
Absolutely. Coop?
Yeah, I'm going to go with they got to have quality pitching in this game. Lila and Mulatto have to go deep into this game, because Stockton is very good at home. They're 9-3, so they gotta, have good quality pitching.
Yeah, you saw 12 and 10 overall, and 9-3.
Yep.
It's going to be a tough matchup. Milligan.
Talking about jumping up in the gun first, being in a hot start, starting off the game hot. You're going to want to apply pressure early. Challenge hitters if you're pitching, be aggressive on the base paths and just making sure that work the opposing pitch count. Because you do that, you force some mistakes for the other team, and you get a good chance of winning right there.
And you get them gas, too. That also helps. But we'll switch over to the baseball side of things now. The Pioneers are in a bit of a tough skid, going 1-4 in their last 5, despite Ty Kobalakowicz winning NJAC Rookie of the Week. Team's not been winning games, right? So I want to go over to you, Milligan. We'll start back with you. What improvements need to be made for this team to start winning again?
They got to make sure they're putting scores, they're not leaving people on base. And that's if you're looking at the past 4 losses that you had when they went 1-4, they left 40 people left on base. That's outlandish. That's outrageous. So you got to make sure you got to capitalize those opportunities. You can't be leaving 5 people at a time on base or just having one person leave 5 people on base. And it just needs to be improved on.
Yeah, you got to drive them in. When they're in the position, you got to drive them in. Karp?
So I think it's going to be lineup reconstruction. I mean, Coach Lauden's been bouncing Jake Lutz all over the lineup from 1 to 5 recently. I personally think Connor Lucky should be batting 4th. He's been really good lately. And I've said a lot of crazy things before. Not C.D. Lamb, for all those of you who remember. But draw from the hat. Put a bunch of names in the hat. Draw from the hat. And there's your 1 to 9. Call me crazy, but I'm a fan of it.
You're crazy.
Yeah,
Bally?
That's a little wild. I'm going to stick with the lineup, and it's really the lack of production we've seen from the bottom of the lineup. The 6 through 9 hitters over these last 5 games are hitting just over 200, and you're going to need more production from that spot. You need more production to win NJAC games. We've seen flashes from guys like Gio Aresta, Noah Cabasa, Sean McAllister, Ruben Pino, stuff like that. But you're going to need that, and especially with these huge games coming up this week, you only have 2 weeks left. This bottom of the lineup needs to get going.
Coop?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, for me, they gotta continue the good quality pitching that they have, because they have great guys like Robert Nathan, who's been really good. He's tossed a lot of good innings, and also they have Matt Lemieux, who's been solid there. Neil has been solid. They just gotta continue the good groove on the hill, and with these guys that they got.
Yeah, guys, the baseball team given the weather, might square off today against Ramapo after losing to Ramapo yesterday, 13-12 in extras. They're also going to face Kane tomorrow in a doubleheader as part of a really heavy action-packed week. Bally, take us through how those teams compare to each other.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the stats from these 2 teams. The Pioneers sitting at 7-8-18, the Cougars at 15-11. Taking a look at the batting averages, Pioneers hitting 250, Cougars just over 320. At the OPS, Pioneers just over 750, while the Cougars are hitting almost 900. Taking a look at the ERAs, a big difference here. The Pioneers just over 6.5, while the Cougars are sitting at a 5.01. And at the whip, Pioneers just over 175, and the Cougars right under 150.
Yeah, it's a big comparison, between the two. It's drastic, right? But I want to see how they can win. Coop, what do you think the Pioneers need to do to take at least one of those games?
Well, they got to score early, because they got to put some runs up on the board, in the first couple of innings, because they can't fall behind against a team that's 11-5 on the home turf. So they got to put some runs up on the board early.
Absolutely, Milligan.
Honestly, just look back at what I just said before in the last question. You just got to get those people that are left on base and get them inside, get them back to home, scoring with runners in scoring position. That's the most important part. You can't be just swinging for the fences every time. Play simple baseball, ball to bat the ball. There you go.
Exactly. Karp?
Keeping them out of scoring position. 22% of Kane's hits are extra bases. And they also have an 82% succession rate stealing bases. So that means they're going to try to steal bases all the time. So they're going to be on single, bloop single, whatever. They're going to be at second base right away. So you want to keep them out of scoring position so they don't play small ball on you and try to score some runs.
Absolutely. Bally, close us out.
It's got to be good pitching. We've seen them look really good at times and not really good at others. And, Ian Metziger has been really solid this season. And the bullpen has also showed flashes of greatness. We saw Neil Teldevar struggle in the beginning of the season. He's really picked it up. Jose Marte looks really good right now. And overall, if this pitching can be good this weekend, they can absolutely go win a game down in Kane.
They absolutely can. But that's enough for the Diamonds. Let's move on to the ice for the NHL next on Sports Desk.